I know some of you kind of have an inkling of how this church functions, but we on the single board governance thought it would be really important to kind of do the basics because we have some people that have been doing some work for many, many years, have been faithful to their work, that it's time for them to step down. And it's time for you to open your hearts and listen deeply for, is God calling me to step in? So let's begin here. I'm going to start with Ingrid. She is the head of our single board governance. And when you see SBG, that's what that means, single board governance. So Claudia, what is SBG? Ingrid. Sorry, yes, I haven't. What is SBG and what's its role?
Okay, SBG is the governing body of our church, and the role is to oversee the ministry and the mission of Joseph United Methodist Church. We are a governing body that makes policies. An example is a policy for the people who use the place. We go into contracts with people. We contract with someone to mow the lawn. We are responsible for making financial decisions. When it was decided that we needed a new roof on the church, we needed to take out a loan to make that happen, and us, the people on SBG, made that happen. We also have open to ministry ideas, and people who have an idea that they'd like to share can come to us. Such things as when Susie Esfelt got the idea to do the baby clothing and receiving blankets at Christmas time. She came and talked, and we said, that's a wonderful idea, go for it. And then we had our community dinners, which we've just seen, and lots of people came together to make that happen, but in SBG, we had to talk about it first. And that's one of the most beautiful things, I think, about SBG, is that it's made out of 6 people at the moment in our church. I am the leader, I'm the chair, thank you. I'm the chair of SBG. And then our other officers, we have secretary, who's Jesse Michelson. We have the treasurer, who is Sue Moore. We do, there's an committee in the church called SPRC.
Staff Parish Relations Committee.
Yes. And so each year, several of us come together and we visit with Beth. And we find out, how are things going? How can we support you? How do you see things in the church? So we have a chance to really have a more depth in conversation with her. And it's a confidential conversation. We have, Lisa looks at the budget, and every year she gets a committee together to be sure that everything comes out right at the bottom. And then we have Claudia, who is in charge of trustees, and that means the maintenance of the facility. And we have a wonderful person, Sherry Murphy, who's kind of the listening ear in the congregation that listens and things what's going on and informs us. So we all work together, 6 of us, with our pastor, and we do things by consensus. What I find is that I have an idea and I share it, and then other people contribute to that, look at different sides of it, things that as I bring it, I've never thought about. And that's what makes it so strong, is because we talk and we get lots of ideas before we share. And we all come from so many points of view that this is the strength, one of the many strengths of our single board governance. So we meet on the first Sunday of each month. It is open to anyone in the congregation who wants to come to the meetings. We have minutes of the meetings that can be open to anybody. I actually put them upstairs in the room, but if anybody wanted to see the minutes, they're there for anyone to see. SBG is presently 6 members. It can go up to 10. And we're always looking for people who would like to be a part of that function of the church. So if you're interested, talk to me after church.
Okay, now we're going to go to Lisa. Lisa is representing finance, and that's a big, big umbrella. So, Lisa, we take an offering every Sunday. What happens after church to that offering?
So the first thing that happens is it goes into the next room, and 2 people count all of the cash and write that down in a book. And
why is it 2 people?
it's 2 people so that it's very accurate and no one is absconding with any of that cash.
Okay.
Not that I think that's ever happened, but not here.
Okay. And what is the role of Betty,
So-
who is our...
Betty is our financial secretary, and her job is to then take the offering home, where she then records if any of the cash has been designated as coming from a specific person. So if somebody puts it in an envelope and it has their name on it, she's going to record that person's name and the amount of cash. She's going to record all of the checks that are given by who they were in a record for each person. And she is now using a computer program to help with this record keeping system that she's doing. She then prepares a bank deposit slip and a record of any special offerings that are part of the collection for that week. So if somebody put some money in for United Methodist Committee on Relief, and if it was general, it would just be United Methodist Committee on Relief. If it was a specific advance or project within that, she would record that. So all of that information then goes about what types of offerings have been given. All of that information goes to the next person we'll talk about. But one of the very important things that Betty does is she prepares quarterly reports of giving so that anybody who's giving to the church can have a record of what they've given. She records what pledges have been given and provides us with receipts at the end of the year if we're going to use those for tax purposes that record those things. And she's the only one that has that information within the church, admin council or anybody. She has to keep that information, and she keeps it confidentially.
Okay. So what's the role of the church treasurer?
So the church treasurer gets the report of the funds that have come in. She records them on the church's books. So she's making a record of what types of funds are coming in. She processes all the bills and pays them. She keeps accounting and bookkeeping records of those items. She basically oversees, are we within budget for all of the bills that are coming in? Are they matching up with how much we said we were going to spend on those things? And monitors what kinds of things are coming in on the books and makes questions if they don't make sense.
And she helps, she's really the one that puts the budget together.
She puts the budget
under
together.
our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the numbers person.
She's a very good numbers person.
Yes.
Accounting, bookkeeping type of person.
Okay. And just to let you know, Betty, how many years have you been doing the secretary role? 25 or 30 years. She's tired, people. And she's old. And she's looking for somebody to do that role, and she's here ready to teach somebody and take them under her wing. And Sue Moore, how long have you been the church treasurer? Lucky 13. So Sue's ready to step down too, and she's ready to train up somebody. So be praying about, is this something that I can step into? We promise you don't have to be stuck in it for 25 years or for 13 years, but we're looking for those 2 positions. Claudia, now to you.
My turn.
Claudia represents trustees. So Claudia, tell us what is trustees?
Well, in the long ago and far off times, O best beloved. It's the beginning of a Rudyard Kipling story. The Board of Trustees was their own separate entity. And now under SBG, SBG is the trustees. So the trustees are to maintain the properties. So the church building, the place, the parsonage are all the responsibility of the trustees.
Okay. And what happens if something breaks or needs to be repaired?
At the moment, if something breaks, Ingrid tells David. And David calls Tim. It is. It works great. And yeah, that's what happens. And they fix it, and it's magic. But not really. Yes.
So what are we looking for in terms of trustees right now?
We would love to have a group of people who would be willing to help with projects. And I'm not sure you need to know anything about it, but if you did, that would be really good. So, basic maintenance. What happened? How do you change? How many Methodists does it take to change a light bulb? I mean, it's quite a process. What happens when the light switches don't work? What happens when the furnace doesn't come on? Those kinds of questions.
Who shovels
Who shovels the snow? Who mows the grass? Who runs the vacuum? Who waters the lawn? All of those things are responsibilities of the trustees ultimately, and we're looking for people who would like to help with those things.
Wonderful. Yes, Scott.
Now, trustees don't have to push a mower.
No,
They have to know
we just,
who to find to push it.
that's right. We don't actually do it. We just, it's good if we know somebody.
But there's a lot of
there's
things
a
that
lot
people
of
in this
things.
church do.
Yeah.
So I hope in your bulletins there's a little something in there that says volunteer opportunities. And, you know, if you want to continue to have a conversation or are curious or thinking, well, maybe I could do this, but I really don't know, fill it out. And we'll get back to you and have a conversation with you. And if there's something that we haven't talked about that you are seeing as, wow, this really needs to be attended to, write that down. Fill it out and put it in our offering plate today. Are there any questions that anybody has about any of this? Yes, Craig.
To be a member of the SBG, you have to be a member of the church, an official joining member.
Okay, so Craig wants to know if you have to be an official member to be a part of SBG. And Craig, you probably know the Book of Discipline better than I do, so please answer that question. The answer is no.
SBG is not actually in the discipline.
Okay.
It's under the thing that allows us to organize any way we want. And so I was wondering what you all have decided.
Lisa says no, you don't have to be a member of the church. Great. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you for your work and your dedication to this church and all that it does. Thank you.